Hi, everybody. This is Nanette Kennedy with Humanities Team and the Evolution Revolution. We are reading What God Said by Neale Walsch. And today is March 20th. Oh, it's April 20th is the date I was speaking about a minute ago. Anyway, it's good to see you all here, and I'm glad we kind of got the daylight savings time thing settled. And Linda, would you like to get us up to speed here?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So we're reading What God Said by Neale Walsch. We're on page 115, which is the beginning of chapter 11. From the earliest moments of my childhood until I was past 50, I tried to figure out how life worked. That's over a half a century of looking at the same question. I did it in ways both casual and concentrated, simple and sophisticated. You would think that all that effort would have brought me some wisdom, perhaps, or some insight. But no, I wasn't experiencing that. At the age of 50, I felt that I knew little more than I did at 15. I'm not exaggerating. I had no experience of God. I felt I knew nothing about love. I didn't understand how relationships worked. And all the mysteries of life remained mysteries. I had no idea why I was here or what this was all about. I just knew that here I was, plunked down in the middle of all this stuff we call life on Earth, and I was trying to make the best of it. But surely there must be some reason for all this, or at least some method to this madness, as my mother used to say. Yet if there was, I had zero knowledge of either, no conception whatsoever. So I got up each morning just trying to hook myself on some sort of goal or hope or desire, some sort of activity or experience or project, some sort of purpose or function or objective for the day, anyway, or maybe even the week or month, if not my life. It's none of this. If none of this sounds familiar to you, you're one of the lucky ones. You've known for a while who you are, why you are, what you are, where you are going, and how come you're going there, and the way to get there. These are not small questions. And if you've had answers that have satisfied you, good for you and God bless you. I'd turned the corner toward 60 and had none of them. Then suddenly, I had all of them. As you can imagine, this shook me to the core. Could I believe what I was all at once given? Was it even functional or applicable in daily life? Did it have any on-the-ground value at all? I have found that the answer to all three questions is yes. Emphatically, yes. But I had to really get and really embrace and really use something I'd heard in my conversations with God first, or none of the other pieces of the puzzle would fall into place. None of life's mysteries would be resolved. This is surely one of the most important things I've ever heard in my life. It's one of the most critical bits of data about life I've ever encountered. It knocked down, finally, it knocked down the door. It didn't answer all my questions, but it resolved all my problems. It made life much easier. CWG message, core message number 20. Life functions within a do, be, do, have paradigm. Be, do, have. Most people have this backward, imagining that the first one must have things in order to do things, thus to be what they wish to be. Reversing this process is the fastest way to experience mastery in living. I am talking here about when I say that most people have this formula for life backward, I'm not kidding. I observed this in myself for the first 53 years of my life. Book 1 in the Conversation of God dialogue, then later book 3, brought me to the place of great clarity about this very quickly. I was reminded in book 3 that most people believe life works along these general lines and through this general progression: have, do, be. Folks believe that if they have a thing, more money, time, whatever, love, then they can finally do a thing: write a book, pick up a hobby, go on vacation, buy a home, enter a relationship, thus allowing them to be a thing: happy, peaceful, content, or in love. Actually, they're reversing the be, do, have paradigm. As I said, I did this too. It's the way I was told that life worked. Getting things in the right order. In the universe, as it really is, as opposed to how we think it is, havingness does not produce beingness, but the other way around. First, you must be the thing called happy, or peaceful, or content, or in love, or whatever. Then you start doing things from this place of beingness. And soon you discover that what you are doing winds up bringing you the things you always wanted to have. So the formula is be, do, have, not have, do, be. The way to set this creative process, and that's what this is, the process of personal creation, into motion, is to look at what it is you want to have. Ask yourself what you think you would be if you had that. Then go straight to being. Start there rather than trying to get there. In this way, you reverse the way you've been using the be, do, have paradigm. In actuality, set it right and work with rather than against the creative power of the universe. Here is a short way of starting this principle. How life works for you is very much a matter of what and how you are being. Book 3 illustrates this by inviting us to think of a person who just knows that if he could only have a little more time, a little more money, or a little more love, he'd be truly happy. He thinks there is a direct connection between his not being very happy right now and his not having the time, money, or love that he wants. Now, think of a person who is being happy in every moment. Isn't it interesting to observe that she seems to have time to do everything that's really important, all the money that's needed, and enough love to last a lifetime? She finds she has everything she needs to be happy by being happy to begin with. Something for the refrigerator. It turns out that deciding ahead of time what you choose to be can often produce that in your experience. To be or not to be, that is the question, as Shakespeare put it. Happiness is a state of mind, and like all states of mind, it reproduces itself in physical form. Like much of what's here, that's a statement from CWG Book 3 that's fit for the refrigerator magnet. All states of mind reproduce themselves. But you might ask, how can you be happy to begin with, or be anything you are seeking to be, more prosperous, for instance, more loved, if you do not have what you think you need in order to be that? The answer is to act as if you do, because you do, and simply don't know it. This is the most important part of the secret formula. You already have happiness. You already have prosperity, peace, joy, wisdom, and every other aspect of divinity, all stored within you. It is who you are. These things are who you are. You do not have to find them elsewhere. You merely have to draw them out from yourself. You merely have to be who you really are. This is what is meant by starting where you've been wishing you could end up. It is a case of knowing that you are the source of these things, not the seeker of them. It's about awareness. What it is not about is trying to trick yourself with an approach to life that some have called fake it till you make it. You can't really be faking when you are being something. Your actions must arise sincerely. Everything you do out of sincerity, for the benefit of the action is lost. Or the benefit of the action is lost. Natural law requires the body, mind, and spirit to be united and aligned in thought, word, and deed for the process of personal creation to work. Sincerely experiencing sincerity. So how can you be happy if you're not sincerely feeling happy? How can you be prosperous if you're not sincerely feeling prosperous? How can you be loved if you are not sincerely feeling love? You must sincerely experience that you are. You must experience that you are all the things that you are not sincerely feeling. And the fastest way to experience something you are not sincerely feeling is to cause another to experience it because of you. This is a great secret. It may be the greatest secret of life. Causing another to experience what you wish to experience makes you aware that you are the source and not the seeker of that experience. This shifts the whole paradigm of your life. Instead of trying to find what you want, you try to find ways to give away what you want. Yet how can you give away what you do not have? By knowing that you do have it. And how can you come to know that? The circular logic, by giving it away. Therefore, if you choose to be happy, cause another to be happy. If you choose to be prosperous, cause another to be prosperous. If you choose to be loved, cause another to be loved. It is as simple as that and as powerful as that. Do this sincerely, not because you seek personal gain, but because you really want the other person to have a particular experience, and all the things you give away will be experienced by you. Again, one last time, how? Why? Because the very act of giving something away causes you to experience that you have it to give away. This principle has been put into 3 words in the Conversations with God books. Be the source. Which comes first? Since you cannot give to another something you do not now have, then you are being the source of life of another, of everything you want. Your mind comes to a new conclusion, a new thought about you, namely that you must have this, or you could not be giving it away. That you might say, if you can be the source of something in the life of another, why can't you call it forth in your own life? You can, and I'm giving you the process right here. Yes, you might respond, but why do I have to first give it to another? Why can't I give it to myself first? The answer, CWG says, has to do with human psychology. and the story we have been taught about ourselves. In brief, we've been taught that we are unworthy. Therefore, it's very hard to allow ourselves to give to ourselves. We can easily see and acknowledge, on the other hand, that others are worthy and deserve whatever help we can give them. The trick then is to give to others frequently and intentionally. Yet you can't do this as a means or a method of getting the same thing for yourself or obtaining something you lack, because the very motivation behind the process creates a sponsoring thought that will continue to generate your reality. No, when you give to others, you must do it from a place of knowing and demonstrating that you already have that. If you can't do that, then just don't think about it. Don't analyze it or calculate things. Just give away what you want if you see others needing it. Do it spontaneously. Surprise yourself. Reach into your wallet and just give that $20 bill. You'll realize next month that it didn't actually hurt at all. In fact, it made you feel great. And fascinatingly enough, it was just a week later that you got a sales bonus, or that tax refund check that you forgot about, or that call from the lawyer back east about inheritance. And then you'll wonder which came first, the chicken or the egg. It's all about training the mind. You can train your mind in exactly the same way you train your hair. As you show your mind a new thought about you over and over again, through your demonstration of it, it becomes your experience. You start being that more and more. And once you start being a thing, you've engaged the gears of the most powerful creation machine in the universe, your awareness. You've come to know what is really so, what is true, really true about you, by demonstrating what is true, appearances to the contrary notwithstanding. When you think about it, the simplicity of this process is remarkable and obvious. You know very well that you never feel happier than when you are making someone else happy. Your life has taught you that you never experience prosperity more than when you share with others. And you're very clear that the most profound and blessed feeling of being loved is yours when you have been in the direct cause of another person feeling love. The messengers of all the world's great religions have taught this principle precisely, each in their own way. The message within which I am personally most familiar: do unto others as you would have it done unto you. This is not simply a sweet saying or a nice aphorism. It is an explicit instruction on how life works. This is not about morals. This is about mechanics. When you know this, you are ready to achieve mastery in living.
Let's pause there. If I could figure out how to get my screen to go up, I could take myself off of no video. There we go. First, I want to say I had to laugh when Neale uses the metaphor of training your hair, because I haven't heard that in a long time, which dates me. I'm curious to know what some of you, and welcome Carmelina. I'm curious to know what some of you might have done recently or some other time, your favorite time, that you made someone else happy when you weren't feeling exactly happy yourself.
I recently saw a message on social media, and it was someone I interact with on social media, but I don't know them personally. And she said, this was around Thanksgiving, so it's a few months ago, and she said, please give me some money to give my kids a Thanksgiving party. And also, I have only one pair of pants, and I'm going to a thrift shop this afternoon. And please send me some money so I can buy pants. And I was like, well, I don't have a lot of money, but I have like 10 pairs of pants. So I feel very rich reading your message, and I want to share what I have. So without even thinking, without checking my budget or anything, and just sent more money than she asked for. And I was like, please buy all the pants the thrift store has. And I think things like this, like I said before we started, I bought plants for myself. And I said even I spent too much money, but while we were reading, I was thinking, no, that wasn't too much money. It makes me happy. And I can also spend money on myself when it makes me happy without feeling guilty. Because for me, money, spending, and guilt, they're all intertwined. So uh, I think it's a good step that I give more and more of my money away, but also sometimes just splurge and buy 30 plants.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I like volunteering. And I often will suggest to people when they are, bemoaning their circumstances or their situation, or kind of stuck in a real sort of self-pity cycle, I encourage people to go volunteer, go work in a soup kitchen, or go to a homeless shelter, and or even, and it doesn't even have to be volunteer like that. You can go volunteer at a library. But I think it's very common for us to get sort of trapped in our own mental stories and focused so much on ourselves. And the act of stepping out and going and doing something for another will help break that cycle. Over.
Thank you. And I think that's a really good suggestion. And because my mom volunteered a lot, I have been volunteering for one thing or another for a long, long time. And it does give you a sense of well-being, and a sense of I'm contributing, whether it's with money or volunteering. Thank you for bringing that up. And next hand that's up is Mirko.
For me, what I like to be the source the most is the source of energy. And I talked with Neale in his program in the last weeks, months. And I have discovered that in the last days, he launched a movement, Unite the Light, with his wife. And in 2 different hours, I think it is in America is 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. for 30 minutes. We have to send into the universe some positive energy. Yes, this is the link.
I put it in the chat.
Probably is not the only one who create similar things, but the difference is I think that this is in 2 specific hours to create the most power, the most quantity of energy. I think that this is most important than money and other things, in my opinion, in my experience today, because everybody can do this, even if you don't have money, even if you don't have whatever you don't have, you always have energy, positive energy. For me, this is a great idea, a great expansion of a way to be the source. It's easy. I think it's easy because I don't see in the world very much people doing this, but it's a start. And this group, for example, I say this many times, is an example in my opinion. 1 hour a week is not very hard to do. Find ourselves here talking about this positive energy, positive talks. This is a great way to be the source. And then, because I am finishing, then this message of today to the be, do, have paradigm is very connected with these things that I am saying, because be positive, do whatever feel positive in your state of being positive, and you will have positivity. This is my idea. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you brought up some good points, because there's a multiple way of doing these things. Mary, your hand's up next, and then Ariana, it'll be over to you.
Ariana's hand was up before mine.
Oh, forgive me for living. Take it away, Ariana.
It doesn't matter. Yes, I would like to say that I like to teach students about some, how to say, social and ecological themes and like this. But I'm personally, I'm not a very happy person, because when I was 15, 16, I was sexually abused. And I also drink alcohol at disco club. So I married and I had children. And then when one child had 3 months, some more, I had psychosis. And I was in depression there some months. And then again, all this time I work at university, but I had these mental issues, more emotional, let's say. Let's say that mentally I'm okay, I would say it like this, but more emotionally. So I had no love in my life as a woman, as I wanted, and so. And I often think that in personal life, I don't feel very happy, and I feel a regret that I can't give more to this to the world, because of this my personal situations that are not very good. So I think I don't feel good, and I would like, but how, if I don't feel good, how can I give more? Let's say this.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing it. And that was pretty deep. And my heart goes out to you still. So thank you for sharing that. Mary?
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And that is a very difficult thing. And, you know, things like that do affect our ability to do these things. I was very sort of closed off emotionally for a lot of years of life because of the traumatic things that had happened to me. And it's funny because when I first started going to therapy, it wasn't even because of that stuff. it was just because I knew that I wasn't really being fully alive, and I wanted that. I wanted to feel more alive, you know. And then in therapy, I realized, oh, these things happened. Maybe I should look at that. But what I wanted to say is when you first asked the question, Nanette, you asked, can you think of a time when you were unhappy and you did something to sort of make someone else happy? And the answer for me is I can't really, because I can't remember back how long ago that must have been, because now I just sort of go through my life that way. It's like I go through my life trying to, you know, it sounds like a cliche, but I'm really trying to bring a little sunshine into the day of anyone who I interact with. And it's true. And like that goes from, you know, wearing things like this that make me happy and other people look at them and it makes them happy too. But also just, you know, like the people I encounter in my day. I work at a law school, and the library is where like the bathroom and kitchen are that I go to throughout the day to get my water and stuff. And so there's always students at the desk. And so I'm like, hi, how are you? How's it going? How were midterms? You know, just giving them an opportunity to say something if they want to. Like, that's a thing I do a lot, is sort of give people an opening to be real if they want to, you know what I mean? Like if they have some issue, that they feel safe talking to me about it. Or like what I thought of first was when I was unemployed for a long time, and I got a new well-paying job, and I went to the bus stop that morning to go to the first day of my job, and there was a homeless woman sitting there at the bus stop, and I gave her $5, and she said, "What's that for?" And I said, "Well, I just started a new job today, so I figured I'd share, you know." And she was there for months in the morning, and we kind of built up a friendship, you know, talking while waiting for the bus every morning. And there was another time that I thought of where I had started another new job. Woohoo! Had a lot of unemployment issues in the past decade. Anyhow, I started another new job, and there was this homeless guy by this Buddhist temple where they let them basically live until they had a holiday. And I just gave him $20 because, you know, share the wealth. I had it, like Neale was talking about. I had the $20. He didn't ask for anything. And I'm like, what the hell? I gave it to him, and he was like, thank you. I can buy lunch for all my friends. And I just love that's what his response was, you know. I shared from my heart, and his response was to share from his heart. So that's a sort of paying it forward thing. So yeah, I just sort of really do try to live my life that way. And that's not a thing I've always done, but that's where I'm at now in life. So thank you.
Thank you. And before I go back to Berko and Ariana, Bima, did you want to say something?
Yes, I can say something.
Yes.
And what touched me is to be connected to my heart, to the source inside, and to be there with others. That's very much supportive. I today was at a meeting with some friends, and there is a woman and her daughter. The daughter is 70, and she is 40. I don't remember. Yeah, between 40 and 50, the mother. But anyway, the mother said, I will adopt you as a bonus mother because she has been through a lot of traumatic situations with alcohol and drugs and very many different things and difficult. And she feels so seen and connected when she meets me. And that is my way, very much to be present with people who go through things. I don't know what it is, but it has been with me since I was young. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for for having this capacity to be, just to be there and not judge, no, just be present so they can feel their presence. No, that was what came up to me. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, Bima. And I think what you said is just as valid as any other thing that's been said. So it sounds like you're doing it. Bree, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, when Mary shared about homeless,
Oops, I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was when Mary
I
was
don't
talking.
hear you. Are you
Oh.
here?
Wait a sec.
Does anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mary was talking about meeting these homeless people, and me too. I made a habit of always talking with any homeless people I meet and build relationship. And then one day, when I was 25, I had just broken up with my boyfriend while I was in Turkey. So I flew back from Turkey to Germany because that's where my parents were at the moment. And then I had a terrible fight with my parents. And then I took the train back to the Netherlands. So it was like the worst day ever. And after a long trip, I came home to my city and I was trying not to cry. And who was at the train station waiting for the train because she needed to get on it? It was the homeless woman I always talk with. And she saw me coming out of the train with a big suitcase and she immediately hugged me and she said, "Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home." And that's one of my favorite memories now. And it's just, if you are friendly to someone, someday it will pay you, it will be paid back or paid forward, it doesn't matter, but friendliness always finds a way around.
That's a good story. There are no accidents. I'm going to call on Linda first, and then I'll come back to you, Marco.
Yeah, thank you, Mary, because I really couldn't figure out why I couldn't answer Nanette's question. Like it was really an interesting thought process I was going through, because I'm in the same similar situation. I think I've been studying Neale's work for 20 years anyway. So none of this is new to me. And I think what happens is when you embrace this shift into be, do, have, instead of have, do, be, you pretty much are in that mode all the time of what can you do for another? Because that's why we're here, right? We're here to be in community. We're here to serve each other, not ourselves. And that's the pivotal shift that happens. And once I think a person has embraced the notion that we're here to serve others, then it becomes just a way of life. You live it, and you can't pick out individual things you're doing because everything you're doing fits into that realm of serving. Over.
Thank you. Sorry if that wasn't clear when I stated it. I'm going to interject something real quick here that I haven't done since the COVID disaster, but it is one of my very, very favorite things to do. And that's give out free hugs. And there is a euphoria that happens when somebody comes sometimes running towards you with their arms open and they hug you. And I've had people, I've been down in Boulder and done this many times with my son, Casey. And we've had people who were walking the Pearl Street Mall, which is an open like market of stores and whatnot. And we've had people say, do you have an extra sign? You know, because they were so moved by it, they wanted to do it. And that's happened almost every time we've done it. And it's so powerful because you cannot turn away from anyone if you've got a sign that says free hugs. And it's a very powerful can't think of the word. It's just very powerful. I was going to ask Carmelina if she wanted to add anything. And if she doesn't, that's fine too.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome.
I don't have the video on because I'm in my pajama, but you invited me in pajama, so maybe I could put the video on.
That's okay.
I can. Ciao. It's the first time that I succeed in participating to this meeting. I always see it, and then the time is never convenient for me, or I'm doing something else, you know. So I'm honored to be here tonight. And no, what I can share is only that I mean, I resonate a lot with all what you were reading about what Neale says in the book. And but for me, is the main important thing in my life is to be the manifestation of joy. And also, if I don't feel it, I find it somewhere. And then I like to share it with others. And, you know, when I can succeed in lifting up the spirit of someone else, my spirit lifts up as well. So that is very important in my life.
Thank
well,
you.
That.
Thank you. And we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm glad you took the pajamas seriously.
Yeah, I'm in pajama on my bed. That's why I didn't put the video. Sorry.
No worries. That's why I posted that way. Mirko, what would you like to say?
I only want to say to Ariana, because these things we have talked about these things a couple of weeks ago. She find difficult to be happy, but there is, if you are interested, there is a wonderful book of Neale about this topic of happiness that is happier than God, in which you find in this book at least 20 ways to be happy. The most simple are, for me, are for example, smile, even if you have nothing to smile. Smile. Train yourself to smile every day. And there are other simple things, more simple and less simple. The other is listen to music. And then there is a point, I have finished. There is a very, very important point that Neale, I think he is the only author that I have read who talk about this, that we can be, I have another thing, but we can be sad and happy at the same time. Read this point in his book is wonderful, because you realize that even when you are thinking, for example, to your past sexual abuse, there is a part of you that is, Ariana is gone. Is escaped from the meeting. There is a part of us that is always happy, even this moment. And I only want to add, mentioning Jesus, that is one of my favorite masters, spiritual masters. When at the end of the gospel, he said, I leave you my peace. He didn't say, I leave you my happiness. So for me, my experience is more simple to experience peace. Even if you are not happy, you can experience this, choose the state of being of peace. Because happy, for me, in our cultural story is more related with having. That is the contrary of what we were talking about. I suggest to be peace, like Gandhi said, be change, be what you want to see in the world, and train yourself, and you can achieve. And my experience is that is achievable, even if you have a tragic experience in life. When you train yourself, your mind, like we have read before, we can train our mind. And I have finished.
Thank you. You
I
brought up some
reply,
interesting points. Yes, it's your turn, Ariana.
if I may reply only 1 minute. Yes, I have this book. I will read again. Thank you very much. But what is, I think that my spirit is rising again and again. But again, happen some situation and challenges that that puts me down. You know, this is
Is described in the book, Ariana. In the book,
Yes.
Neale said clearly that this is the love of repetition, like we read in the past book, The Only Thing That Matters, because our purpose in life is to recreate ourselves. I know that these are only words, but my experience is this, that we can, the first step in the personal creation, like Melina said before, the manifestation of joy is that the love of opposite. When you choose to be happy, immediately in your life appear unhappy things. When the book say this, happier than God, see that when you understand the cycles, these cycles of life, you can choose. Happiness is not something that you happen to be, you choose. And also the great psychologist Viktor Frankl talked about this in a book, The Psychologist in the Lager. It's a wonderful book. He lost everything in a lager in the Second World War. And in a moment of realization that I had in my life, he thought, I want to be happy. I am happy. And he saw the beauty in all the disaster around in front of him. So happiness is a choice. I have finished. Happiness is a choice and can be at the same time with sadness. I invite you to reread 3 or 4 times this book of Neale and take notes. And I think, and to apply it, I think is helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful for this help. Thank you.
And did you want to finish what you were saying, Ariana, or are you finished?
No, I finished. Yes, thank you.
And now, Linda, is your hand up again, or am I calling on the old hand?
No, I didn't lower it. Sorry.
Shame on you. Let that be the worst thing that happens all day. I suppose that the people from the Ukraine, who many of them are in Poland and other places right now, I'll bet they find some happiness even in their strife. There was a post that I saw that was so amazing. Is people were happy that their pets were allowed to come into these other countries. And they found great joy in the midst of this chaos. And I think that is a really important thing to remember, because, you know, they're standing where, or sitting
Annette,
from where I'm sitting.
You are saying a great things, because dog is God backward, say Neale always. And dogs are the masters of happiness. You are saying a great thing. I have many dogs, not 4 or 5. I have 30 dogs in this moment, because my father is a dog breeder. And I have had, I think, thousands of dogs. And I have a great life when I simply think of my dogs. I think I have a never-ending source of happiness. Dogs, for me, are the secret more than any other, because they are teachers. They love you, they love us without condition, and they are our teacher in my experience. So I agree with you.
Thank you. And I was just going to finish up by saying that if you do this unite for life, I think that's right. This twice a day, focusing meditation sort of sounds similar to what Lynn McTaggart does with the group of 8. And if we put our minds to it, and what I do during the day is I just stop 3 or 4 times what I'm doing, and I think about the people in Ukraine and send them love, you know. And it's one of those things that's
Also the Russian, also the Russian for me. We have to love both Ukraine and also the other. In this way, when we love, so to speak, I not about the Russian. When we love the bad of our life, when we come to this point, we change the energy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Love the bad things.
That's true.
Send love to bad things.
Right. Thank you. Mary, we've got a couple minutes left for you to do your song and dance.
And if it's hard for you to love the bad things, then how about just try letting them exist, not fighting with them. Sometimes it's hard to get straight to love, but you can get to, I don't even like the word acceptance if it's too hard, but just, you know, acceptance in the sense that it exists. I don't have to like it. Ultimately, you know, love them the same. What Mirko is talking about is the point we want to get to. The thing I think about is this quote from this movie, life is right in any case. My heart is as open as the sky. So to me, that's the work. That's the work. Have faith, have knowing that the unfoldment is happening in the right way, because I'm not in charge of that. That comes from source. And my job is my response to the unfoldment. And my response is to keep my heart open and loving. And at my mom's funeral, my niece, so one of her granddaughters, spoke, and she said that one of the most powerful things my mom ever told her was, you know, don't go chasing after happiness, because happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes. Happiness is dependent on, you know, we allow our happiness to be dependent on the things of the world, right? Something comes and we're happy, something goes and we're sad, or vice versa. But if you strive for contentment, which is like what Mirko was talking about with the peace, just contentment, which has that vibe of acceptance or allowing things to be as they are. And then my joy, my peace, these are my inner experiences that I can have no matter what is going on in the world around me. You know, I am the curator of my inner experience, no matter what is going on in the world around us. And that can be a challenge, and it can be a process to get to the point where we can, you know, kind of maintain our peace. And it's not even maintaining. Sometimes it's, you know, coming back, like come back to the center place. Things happen, you know, I'm a emotional person. I have my flaily reactions. And then, you know, it's like, okay, that's what happened. And here, this is me. And I'm still over here being me, you know, and the me that I am is just being love, right? That's the thing to me, is just, we're all love. Everything is love. Life is love. And as much as possible, embody that experience of just be the love I wish to see in the world, right? So be a little beam.
Be a little beam.
Be a little beam.
That was good. And I think that today's discussion was very fruitful. And I think it is important to what your niece said, Mary, that your mother had said, if I understood that training right.
Yeah.
I think this was a great session. I'm just not going to say any more because we're over time. But I really appreciate all of you, and I'm really glad you, Carmelina, showed up. And Linda had to leave because she has a different group that she runs right after this one. And just remember, I love you all, and I will see you all next week. Bye. Have a good week.
Love you all.
Love you very much. Bye-bye.